Hi, my name is Isabelle. I'm an incoming 12th grader here in Austin, Texas, and I go to Lhasa High School. I decided to do the Ship the Chip challenge. I'm always ordering things online, as I'm sure most of us do. And I have a lot of experience opening up those shipping boxes, and I always get to see what's inside. My design for this challenge is based off of those plastic bubbles that you see inside of some shipping containers. They're essentially called air pillows, and you'll see a picture of them in the video. But they're those bubbles that are essentially filled with air, and they kind of look like a plastic air balloon type thing. That's what I base my design off of, and you'll see what happened with that. I'm actually going to be taking you through my engineering design process and step by step how I came to my conclusion. I hope you enjoy my video, and let's get started.
First, I started with my brainstorming. I wrote down all the materials that I had in my house that could have been helpful, and I also did a little bit of research. I actually did an egg drop challenge in middle school, and essentially it was the same premise, transferring a really delicate object. So with ideas from that and my materials, I wrote out a sketch, and it was comprised of a Ziploc bag, microbeads, and toilet paper rolls. But then I went into my pantry and I realized we're out of tortilla chips. So, in true adapting and overcoming fashion, I decided to make my own. I decided to fry them and made sure they were really thin so that they were still very breakable and the correct type of chip for the challenge. And I also tried to drop it on the floor to make sure it was breakable and delicate, and it was. And I also started to grab my materials. I grabbed my Ziploc bag, which was the base of my design. The Ziploc bag, essentially, when blown up, reminds me a lot of those shipping pillows that you see in a lot of packages nowadays. So upon blowing up the Ziploc bag, I realized that it was actually already really light, and I wanted to try it out. I stood on a chair, I dropped it from really high, and it was completely fine. So I decided I'll try the other tests. I put about 7 pounds on top of it, and it was completely fine. And I also did the throwing with my sister across the room. And for the 10 times we threw it across, even more than that, it was completely intact and still a full chip. At this point in my design process, I was seriously asking myself, should I add something to my design? And I was also asking myself, why does this work? Well, to answer both of those questions, I think I first needed to answer the latter. Why does this work? Well, when I replay my videos, I see that the chip is actually falling quite slowly, seemingly slower than just dropping it. I concluded that the Ziploc bag was increasing the surface area of the falling object in question, and in turn was also increasing the air resistance. Because of the larger air resistance, there was an extended time of the collision, or it took longer for the collision to occur, and that also reduced the impact on the chip. That's the same principle with airbags, actually. By increasing the time it takes to fully collide, it then reduces the force on the person, reducing harm. So our Ziploc bag is essentially an airbag for our chip. Now we can circle back to our original question. Should I add something to my design?
Honestly, I think the answer to this question is completely subjective. For me, my short answer is no. My design at the moment, my little air bubble, is completely functional. It keeps the chip intact, it passes all 3 of the shipping tests, and the chip hasn't broken once. However, I don't disagree with the fact that adding microbeads or adding those original toilet paper rolls might have helped. But I also feel like there's beauty in simplicity. Finding the simplest solution to even the wackiest of problems can be quite fun. Overcomplicating can get really difficult sometimes, and oversimplifying can also be very difficult sometimes. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with this challenge and actually pretty interested in what I learned. And sometimes I just gotta remember, in some cases, simplicity is key. Thank you for watching my video.
Oh, and before I forget, I weighed out the chip and the plastic bag, and together it was only 0.015 kilograms. So that led to a total shipping score of 6,666.